Hey everyone, how's it going? We're glad to have people tuning in from all around the world. If you're new here, welcome to the family. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
A drone targeting U.S. Vice President Trump's plane forced it to turn back from Tel Aviv's airspace due to a Houthi missile.
Yemen has announced a blockade on Haifa port, and Tel Aviv's airspace is practically paralyzed by Houthi rockets. In response, Tel Aviv has vowed retaliation against the Houthis.
The US has reportedly lost $7 billion in Yemen. The USS Truman aircraft carrier has left the Middle East, and Yemen's attacks on Tel Aviv have caused major damage. Even the interceptor missiles are struggling, because the Houthi warheads explode into deadly shrapnel.
Sana'a has introduced a new long-range weapon, and Israeli Minister Smotrich declared they plan to flatten Gaza completely. Trump has warned Tel Aviv that US support might stop if the war continues.
Meanwhile, Iran says it's doubling its air defense capabilities, and its president has reassured Trump about the nuclear issue. The UK and France are also considering new sanctions on Russia.
Zelensky has listed his one condition before negotiations. Trump, on the other hand, said his phone call with Putin went very well, though the Kremlin remains cautious. Europe is now trying to pull Trump away from his relatively moderate stance on the war. The conflict remains in a stalemate.
Tel Aviv is trying to play the airports and seaports card, but so are the Houthis. According to Reuters, Houthi military spokesperson Yahya Saree announced that the group is now enforcing a naval blockade on the Israeli port of Haifa in response to what they described as Tel Aviv's aggression in Gaza. They urged shipping companies to take the warning seriously, saying the port is now an official target. The Houthis said this step follows their successful shutdown of Eilat port. On another front, Washington canceled a planned visit by U.S. Vice President Jay Defense to Tel Aviv, after intel suggested an imminent Houthi attack on Ben Gurion Airport. According to the BBC, diplomats see this as a sign that the region's deterrence balance is shifting. Meanwhile, Tel Aviv is experiencing a de facto air travel freeze.
Major airlines like Ryanair, Lufthansa, and EasyJet have suspended flights to Ben Gurion due to rising security concerns. Both Israeli and American media are reporting rising financial and strategic losses. Tel Aviv and the US are facing escalating military and economic pressure because of ongoing Houthi strikes. Even efforts to restart flights at Ben Gurion have failed. A Greek airline had planned to resume flights in May, but pulled out at the last minute due to safety issues. As Houthi attacks on the airport continue, major outlets like Israel's Channel 2 report that since March, Sana'a has launched 35 ballistic missiles and over 10 drones into Tel Aviv, including a direct hit on the airport with 2 drones and 2 missiles on a Sunday morning. The Hebrew site Amis said Ben Gurion Airport is now a shadow of its former self due to the continuous missile launches from Yemen. Airlines keep delaying their return, causing chaos for travelers. Former Israeli Air Defense Commander General Sefika Haimovich admitted on Channel 2 that Tel Aviv can't effectively stop the Houthi strikes. He confirmed their missiles are built inside Yemen and don't rely on outside help, a major leap in Sana'a's military capabilities.
The Spanish site Atalaya reported that the US has ended its military campaign against the Houthis just 2 months in, citing growing risks to American troops. Although they aimed to weaken the Houthis and stop their attacks on ships, the campaign became a costly burden. Sana'a shot down 7 American MQ-1 Reaper drones. Some US fighter jets were damaged, 2 F-18 Super Hornets crashed into the Red Sea, and 3 US soldiers were injured. The report said US ammo alone cost about $2 billion in just the first month, raising questions about whether this kind of campaign is even sustainable. The New York Times also revealed that the US has suffered an estimated $7 billion in losses in Yemen, and that includes the loss of about 7% of drone stock depleted, US setbacks continue, and global tensions rise. The US military has burned through much of its stock of MQ-1 Reaper drones. 2 F-18 Super Hornets have been lost, and a huge amount of rare ammunition has been used, all without achieving the campaign's stated goals, according to the report. Stars and Stripes, a military news outlet, confirmed that the US aircraft carrier Harriet Truman has left the Middle East after losing 3 fighter jets. That leaves the USS Vincent as the only carrier remaining in the region. amid what some are calling a string of embarrassing setbacks for the US Navy.
Meanwhile, even Israeli analysts are acknowledging how effective the Houthis' psychological and economic warfare has been. According to journalist Gila Rosenberg, these attacks have thrown Israel off balance, causing damage with every strike, even the ones that got intercepted, because they're packed with explosive shrapnel.
Over on Fox News, US Defense Secretary Pexy said in an interview that America has no intention of repeating the mistakes of Iraq or Afghanistan. He emphasized the US isn't aiming to topple the Yemeni government. They're just protecting their interests. He admitted the Houthis haven't been completely defeated, and for now, the focus is on regional challenges like Iran and China. That said, the campaign in Yemen is ongoing and supposedly still aligned with its original objectives.
On the other side, the Houthi Ministry of Defense in Sana'a announced, via Reuters, that it's now using new hypersonic missiles in the battle. Houthi leaders said both Tel Aviv and Washington have hit a dead end. Mohammed Ali al-Houthi stated that there's growing diplomatic momentum and outreach to global powers. He stressed that Sana'a's legitimacy comes from the Quran, not from recognition by foreign governments.
Meanwhile, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres urged all Yemeni parties to push harder for a comprehensive political solution. He praised Oman's mediation, which helped broker a deal between Sana'a and Washington to stop attacks in the Red Sea. Guterres expressed solidarity with the Yemeni people, saying they've suffered enough and deserve peace. He emphasized that real peace needs political will from all sides, and the UN stands ready to support any path toward ending the conflict, from Yemen to the developments unfolding in Palestine.
Back in Israel, Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich made a chilling statement, declaring that his government intends to completely destroy what's left of Gaza, aiming to wipe out Palestinian resistance. He said that aid will only be allowed in at the bare minimum and proposed a plan to forcibly relocate Gaza's population to a third country through southern Gaza, a claim reported by Israel's Channel 2. According to the Washington Post, people close to Donald Trump have warned Israeli officials that US support might be at risk if the war doesn't stop. A source revealed that Netanyahu has since decided to allow some aid into Gaza, worried about a potential backlash from Washington. Israeli media, quoting a US official, also reported that tensions might be rising between the US and Tel Aviv, although officially the idea of abandoning Israel is still considered far-fetched.
On the humanitarian front, the UN called the aid allowed into Gaza by Israel a drop in the ocean. Meanwhile, Britain, France, and Canada issued a joint statement threatening real action, including sanctions, if Israel keeps up its attacks and restrictions on humanitarian supplies. In a separate report, Israeli outlet Haaretz revealed that over 42 Israeli soldiers have taken their own lives since the war on Gaza began, a grim sign of the toll the conflict is taking.
Switching over to Iran, the country's military chief said Iran's air defense capabilities have more than doubled compared to last year, a sign that they're beefing up their military readiness. Iranian President Masoud Barzakhian also stated that Iran is willing to reassure the US about its nuclear program, but only if Washington is being genuine. He made the remarks during a visit from Iraq's Foreign Minister Fuad Hussein. Iran's foreign ministry clarified that no date or location has been set yet for the next round of nuclear negotiations, at least not after Washington's latest stance.
Meanwhile, Europe fans the flames in Ukraine. While Trump is trying to push for peace with Putin, NATO countries in Europe keep pouring fuel on the fire. The British government, under Keir Starmer, has joined forces with Trump, Macron, Scholz, and Meloni to consider sanctions on Russia if it doesn't come to the negotiating table.
The White House confirmed that President Trump is moving fast to end the war in Ukraine and is still open to a one-on-one with Putin. They're also still weighing new sanctions, but Trump's clear goal is a ceasefire as soon as possible. The Wall Street Journal reported that Trump spoke with Ukrainian President Zelensky before his call with Putin, where Zelensky asked him to push for a 30-day ceasefire and explore the idea of a Russia-Ukraine peace summit, with Trump himself attending. Back in Moscow, the Kremlin seems cautious. Officials there say Europe is trying to pull Trump away from his more balanced stance. Europe remains fully committed to supporting Ukraine, hoping to weaken Russia further. Trump later described his call with Putin as going well and announced that immediate negotiations between Ukraine and Russia are now underway. He made it clear that ceasefire conditions must be discussed directly between both sides. No outside interference. He also mentioned that Russia is interested in resuming trade with the US once the conflict ends. Even the Vatican has offered to help mediate. According to Putin's aide Yuri Ushakov, the Trump-Putin call lasted 2 hours and 5 minutes. He described it as an open, constructive talk covering US-Russia relations, with both sides expressing a desire to get things back on track.
Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with S News, where we're committed to bringing you real, balanced coverage.